Important step is underway today ahead of a new presidential term and session in Congress. Lawmakers are now certifying the election results. Cece, what's happening right now?
Yeah, you can actually see a live picture behind me right now. 4 lawmakers are reading the presidential results, election results from each state. And one of those lawmakers is actually Senator Amy Klobuchar, so we have some representation there. But today, Congress has one job: certify the ballots from the Electoral College to officially pave the way for Donald Trump to once again be sworn into office. Now, today will hopefully be uneventful after the chaos and violence from 4 years ago when over 140 officers were assaulted. Right now, heavy fencing lines the Capitol complex, and hundreds of Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol on that day have been convicted of their crimes. Trump has repeatedly said he would pardon those convicted rioters, though. In addition to Trump retaking the Oval Office, Republicans took back majorities in both the House and the Senate last week, with House Speaker Mike Johnson narrowly holding on to the top job on the first ballot. Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris is presiding over this count. In a new video message shared with NBC News, Harris called her role in today's proceedings, quote, her constitutional duty.
This duty is a sacred obligation, one I will uphold, guided by love of country, loyalty to our Constitution, and my unwavering faith in the American people. As we have seen, our democracy can be fragile, and it is up to then each one of us to stand up for our most cherished principles.
We know that VP Harris will announce the results of the vote later on. Both Harris and Biden have promised a peaceful transition of power. Trump's inauguration is on January 20th.
Cece, thank you. You know, in one of his final moves of his term, President Joe Biden is permanently banning future offshore oil and gas developments. The announcement came this morning, covering parts of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. It's an executive order to invoke a 1950s law that gives the president authority to withdraw federal waters from future leasing and development. The law does not give presidents authority to put those waters back into development. That means that if presidential-elect Trump would need congressional approval to reverse the move. Well, within the past couple of hours, Justin Trudeau announced his plans to step down as the Prime Minister of Canada. It comes ahead of an election later this year, which Trudeau was expected to lose. He's led the country's Liberal Party for 11 years and been the PM for 9 years. He now stays in the position until a new leader is chosen. The election has to be held before October 20th, but could now be moved up. Well, Americans continue to honor the life and legacy of President Jimmy Carter ahead of a state funeral later this week. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest from Atlanta.
Well, despite rain that's been hard at times and colder weather here, crowds continue to gather at Jimmy Carter's Presidential Library in Atlanta to pay their respects to the 39th president. Former President Carter really set the benchmark for service by a president after leaving the White House, and few in or outside the political arena really have come anywhere close to his reach or matching his impact as a global humanitarian, helping the disabled and the needy across the United States and around the world, fighting disease and fighting for democracy and fair elections. President Carter spent most of his life, 80 of his 100 years, in rural Georgia. He lived in the same house that he built with his wife Rosalind in 1962, only leaving there twice, once to spend 4 years in the governor's mansion here in Atlanta, and then 4 years in the White House as well. He was someone who was very active in his faith, someone who spent a lot of time in his community, and he's being remembered for that by so many who say he was really what was best about their state, about our country.
President Carter represented a lot of people, and we were very proud of him. We respected him.
A respect that will follow the former president to Washington. His body will travel to the nation's capital tomorrow. He will lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda ahead of his funeral set for Thursday morning at the National Cathedral. That's the latest from here in Atlanta. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.